Hey guys, it's Mark from parkflyers.com. Today we're doing part 2 of the 2022 Traxxas mainline refresh. These are the 3 most requested cars after the first video that we had. The first one is a Stampede 4x4 XL5. The second one is a Rustler 4x4 XL5. And the third one is a Traxxas VXL two-wheel drive slash. All 3 cars are very popular, and by popular request, of course, we're gonna go over all these 3 cars. So this is the Stampede 4x4 XL5. It's 4-wheel drive and brushed. The appeal of this car are the big wheels and the ride height. This thing could go over a lot of rough surfaces. It has tractor tires, so this out of the box will handle snow, or you can take this to the beach right away, as opposed to these 2 cars. These 2 cars, you put them on the beach and they're just gonna spin. But with these tires, you really plow through the sand and it's really good. One of the cool things about the Stampede 4x4 versus the other brushed 4-wheel drive cars is they have shock guards in the front and the back of the car. Also new for 2022, we have the revised cover schemes. Really nice graphics, much better than the old one. The old Stampede cover was actually so ugly that it was starting to affect the sale of the car. We really weren't selling many of them. Now that we have the new cover, it looks like the interest re-peaked. The other cool thing about the 2022 refresh is you have front LED lights integrated into the front bumper, and then you have the rear lights as well. Both of these things can be, both of the lights can be purchased as a single upgrade. It's $40 and you could upgrade your standard 4x4 if you want to add the light system to your car. It comes with all the wires, so you don't need to buy anything extra. Another thing that you may want to consider if you upgrade this car in the future to brushless, or you touch the gearing, you can get a wheelie bar. It attaches to the wheelie bar mount in the back of the car. A really nice touch. One thing that sets the Stampede 4x4 out from the competition is the 12-turn motor. The 12-turn motor is extremely reliable in the 4-wheel drive fashion. Usually in a lot of brushed 4-wheel drive configurations, like let's say the Armor Granite Mega, that motor will probably die after about 6 or 7 runs, and then it kind of takes a dump. Not with the 12-turn motor from Traxxas. Really good motor, could handle 4-wheel drive and all that, you know, all the friction that it entails. It doesn't overheat and it doesn't have a problem lasting. So this is a fantastic car. It's known to have a really reliable and durable drivetrain. The suspension is actually really good. You can upgrade the shocks, especially on the Stampede. You benefit from going to the GTR shocks. Those are going to be metal cased, and they're going to be thicker. They have titanium nitride shock shafts, and they just have more damping on them. So it actually is a very nice upgrade for the Stampede. Overall, it's under $100 for all 4 corners and the springs. One of the cool things you can do with the Stampede 4x4 is turn it into a full-blown monster truck by adding J-Concepts Fling Kings or Renegades, mounting them to their deep dish monster tire wheels. It's a really nice touch. We're going to do a video on that in the future, and we think it looks great and it performs even better. Rustler 4x4, this one's a special one. Why? If you compare this, last year we actually were running this together with the slash 4x4s on the track that we have, and these were beating the slashes, and everybody couldn't really figure out why. They're like, why is, you know, what's going on? So for me it was a little obvious. The Rustler is 1 pound less than the slash 4x4, so it's lighter. It generally will go about 4 to 5 miles an hour faster on the same motor system than a slash, so speed is definitely going to be an advantage. Then you have the wide track of the Rustler 4x4, a really wide car, so it has a really stable stance. And then the LCG chassis, this thing is really low to the ground, nimbler than the slash 4x4. Also, it's shorter than the slash, so it's going to corner a little bit quicker. And overall, just will definitely do much quicker lap times than the slash 4x4. And for 2022, you have probably one of the nicest covers Traxxas ever made. You have the blue and the red. It looks killer, just looks amazing. And obviously the LED lights are new for 2022 also. You have the front and the rear lights integrated into the bumpers. Really nice touch. Now, one cool thing that the Rustler 4x4 has over the Stampede 4x4 is the universals are thicker and beefier. Now, you can use these universals on the Stampede, no problem. They'll fit at no problem at all. So I guess each car has its own advantage. You could also take the shock guards that are on the Stampede, and you could actually use them on the slash 4x4 to protect your shocks. You definitely want to do that, because if you hit the front end, a lot of times customers are bending the shaft here, and you know it's kind of inconvenient to change that out. Even though the parts are cheap, So the shock guards, you can upgrade the shock guards, and it definitely will add to your durability. Another cool feature of this car is you have a clipless body removal, and you don't need to have the clips like on the Stampede. So it's really easy to put, on and take on and off the body. It also looks better without the body post sticking out of the car. And that rear wing in the back also is a nice touch. It creates a little downforce when you're on a track, and it really does work. Now, something to note about the Rustler 4x4 is a lot of the Traxxas cars, we run a hobby shop, so we recommend upgrading a lot of them to with Proline wheels. Usually they're, 9 times out of 10, they're better than a stock Traxxas wheel. This particular wheel, the Talon, on a track happens to be unfreaking believable. And I think it might be on par with some of the Proline wheels that they make out there. A lot of people upgrade their slashes and put these wheels because they have a flat surface and they're a little bit wider. Makes the slash easier to drive. A lot of my older customers, I noticed, do that. But this is definitely not a wheel that needs to be upgraded. You can buy a Rustler 4x4 just like this as is, and you can have so much fun with this without upgrading it. This is just so good out of the box. And like I said, we always carry these tires, wheels and tires in stock at all times just because they sell so well. Now, one cool thing to know is that if they do make these in painted versions, now I would avoid those like the plague because I run a hobby shop, so I see everything. The ones that are painted, we see that the rubber is separating from the wheel a lot because they're basically glued to the paint, and then they break free. So if you're going to get these wheels, get them in solid black, and then they usually don't have a problem coming apart. Now, the 2022 2wd Drive VXL, this car is a little special to me because this is the car that I run at the track, and I'll tell you why in a minute. But for 2022, you have much nicer bodies. Look at the detail in the body. Look at the integrated graphics. It's just one of the nicest slash bodies I've ever seen. I absolutely love this thing. So this also has the Magnum 272 transmission as an upgrade. Very, very nice transmission. I upgraded mine last year when I was at the track because the transmission was available separately. So I've been running the transmission for quite some time. Now, the downside of the transmission is it comes with 500,000 diff oil from the factory. I disagree with that. You have too much acceleration out of the corners. It's not going to grip. You're losing your differential. So it's almost like driving like a locked car. And that defeats the whole purpose of having a differential. So what you want to do, the best thing to do, is actually put in a 40 to 50,000 diff oil, or you can use Kyosho grease, which I used. The advantage of grease over oil is the consistency and just the overall durability of the actual material. It lasts much longer. With diff oil, you notice that it gets thinner very quickly, maybe over weeks, where the diff grease, it really just holds itself. Mine ran the whole season last summer, 2 months, and I think I could probably run it early into the season this year. I never saw a degradation or any type of thinning out for the Kyosho grease. Again, the Kyosho grease should be put into the rear differential. The Magnum transmission is excellent. So a couple of good features of the Magnum transmission is it has a motor plate, an aluminum anodized motor plate that acts like a heat sink. It does lower the temperature, the running temperature of the motor. So it's a really nice addition. It also has a much better differential where it's sealed. And then the top shaft, instead of having a roll pin that always breaks, it actually is keyed into the actual metal itself. So there is no chance of it breaking. Another cool thing about the Magnum 272 transmission is you don't have to take the gearbox apart to remove the differential. On the bottom of the gearbox, there's 4 screws, like a little hatch, and then you can remove that little differential. Let's say you're going to different tracks, so you want to try different setups. So you can have about 3 or 4 different differentials with different weights in it, and you could change it on the fly without taking the entire gearbox apart. Really convenient and very good. It's very convenient and very nice if you're tuning your car. The reason why I like the Slash VXL 2-wheel drive the most, even better than the 4-wheel drive Slash, is that it is a challenge to drive. It's a challenge to drive, a challenge to tune, and it really will teach you how the fundamentals of a car work. It doesn't spoil you with just way too easy handling, like the Rustler 4x4. I mean, it's not like cheating, but it really is hard to mess up with the Rustler 4x4. This thing is low to the ground, 4-wheel drive. You just mash the throttle, and this thing is on like cruise control. Where this, you really have to tune the car. You have to consider your spring rates, your shock oil, your camber rates, everything you have to set up perfectly. Otherwise, it doesn't drive well at all. It is very rewarding when you do set it up right. It is absolutely phenomenal. And I do recommend this to anybody. By the way, this truck usually appeals to the older customers that want a little bit of a challenge and like tuning their cars. Now, if you want a little bit of an advantage on this two-wheel drive car, the radio that comes with this car has TSM. So it kind of drives a little bit like a four-wheel drive car if you want, where it has all that traction stability. I dial mine back a little bit because I like rotation in my car in the back end, and I like it to oversteer through the corners because I like to rotate my car. I like sliding through the corners, and to me it's fun. Anyway, this is a welcome update, the 2022 upgrade. By the way, I didn't think it would be so popular and people would know about the Magnum transmission upgrade, and a lot of people are coming into the hobby shop asking for it. So it definitely was a smart move for Traxxas to do. People know about it, they want it, and now the Slash has it. This is, by the way, if you ask me what the best or my favorite 110 scale car in my shop is, at the track, for going to the track, it's gonna be this car. Two-wheel drive VXL with a Magnum transmission is definitely the best. Now, the cool thing about all these three cars, because they're mainline cars, they do share some components like the shocks. The front and rear shocks for all three cars are the same. And one cool upgrade, now that we're on the subject of shocks, one cool upgrade for these three cars is the GTR shocks. The GTR shocks are gonna be thicker, they're anodized aluminum, they have titanium nitride shock shafts, they're just a better shock. If you throw these on any of these cars, you're gonna improve the handling noticeably. It's not a subtle improvement where it's just for, to be fancy or to look good. It really does enhance the performance. So look up the GTR shocks, they make them in different colors. On this one, the green ones will look killer on the Stampede 4x4. And actually, we might put those, when we do our Monster, we're gonna be doing a Monster truck upgrade to this and a full video. When we do that, we're probably gonna put the green GTRs on this and they're gonna look great. So anyway, this is the part 2 of the 2022 Traxxas refresh for their mainline cars. We think Traxxas is doing an amazing job at making their product line relevant, and they keep improving the line constantly, so it really keeps the customers coming. This is an appeal to Traxxas. We hope that you make all these bodies separately and sell them as a separate part number, because all our customers want to know if they can get these bodies. These are killer bodies for 2022. They are all beautiful, and Traxxas should never look back. Their old bodies are definitely outdated, and we really appreciate what they did with these new cars. Anyway, thanks for joining us on this video. Please give us a thumbs up. Please support our channel by using the Amazon links below. It really helps us. And we thank you so much for all the support. We've been doing really good on YouTube. And our channel has been growing very quickly and a lot. So please share this video with other people in the hobby. And again, we'll see you on the next video, and have a great day.